Shut up and sit down. Shut up and sit down.
Couple, here comes the six. Yodel hangs on for two in a row.
All right, it's Saturday night, and after a week's absence, we're back with another installment of the Greyhound Race of the Week. I know y'all miss me. Some did, some do, some don't. Public service announcement. A message from overturn13.org. From sand flying excitement to first-time winners, this is the sport that we love. Seeing old friends, big crowds, generations of families appreciating the grace and beauty of these athletes, to the people responsible for it all, the caretakers of these magnificent athletes, taking care of the dogs for generations. Please join us to make sure this doesn't end on January 1st of 2021. For more information, please go to www.overturn13.org to help us in our quest to overturn Unconstitutional Amendment 13. That's right. Need more money. This is going to be a long battle. Just wanted to get that in there. All right, tonight's opening lines. I don't know if we are going to need this or not yet. Time will tell. Unfortunately, there wasn't any media at Derby Lane. I had a little speech all prepared, but I'm going to give it tonight just in case any media happens to trip up in here. So, first off, I want to go back to weekend at Derby Lane. What a blast that was. Holy shit. Met a lot of people. I'll forget names, faces, and all that kind of stuff because I'm old and forgetful. I can't even remember sometimes what I did 5 minutes ago. But it was a great time. Hopefully we'll do it again at another track. Wish I could have stayed longer. The auction was a success. I think we raised close to $2,000. And for those of you that missed it, Cal Holland had a great speech. That speech will be coming up at the end of Greyhound Race of the Week. So stick around, because if you haven't heard it and you haven't clicked on it, you'll want to hear it. So that's coming up. I saw a post for a calendar. I didn't really look at it because I don't like to raise my blood pressure with those morons in here.
Right. We're live for weigh-in for tonight's races. Starting at 7:30, Derby Lane.
So I saw another post.
We have a bunch of support working animals members that are here so far. Been here half hour. Haven't seen an abused dog yet. So.
This was here's the deal. You want to know why this is going to court, okay? I'm going to condense this.
We're live. Say hey. Finally got to meet Jennifer.
First off,
we're here for weigh-in. We're live on KeepGreyhoundsRacing.org.
I gotta cut the sound on that. There we go. Sorry, that sound was supposed to be cut. Okay, so you went before the CRC and you screamed abuse. That was refuted by Hank Cox, who said if that went to actual court proceeding, he would never have been convinced that there was any abuse. Then Bill Schifino also said that he saw no data, no statistics. So you paraded thousands of people in front of a government committee to lie about abuse. A lot of them claimed to have witnessed. We all know Sonia Stradaman, or otherwise known as Sobbing Sonia, was out there saying she witnessed 15 years of abuse but never filed one police report. One CRC commissioner also said he didn't understand why there was no abuse reports in the 67 counties. Also, our ex-attorney general said she had prosecuted Greyhound abuse cases. When I made the request, public records request, there were none. So our then current attorney general was lying not only to the CRC, Grade 2K lying in front of the CRC. There are hundreds of paid minions lying before the CRC, but you also lied to the Florida voters. So you want to know why we're litigating this? That's partially why. Then you went around and told the people that these dogs were drugged on cocaine to fix races, fully knowing that there have been 2 court cases that have already refuted that, and a Florida state statute on environmental contamination that was already on the books before any of this even started. But then again, Carrie Thiel, you went in front of the CRC and you lied to them. You made fun of Jack Corey when Corey brought up the fact. And we're going to go back to 2 court cases and a Florida statute that says environmental contamination does exist. But no, Carrie, that wasn't enough for you. Your Protect Dogs Yes on 13 website to the day you took it down. And just remember, screenshots do last forever. If you remember calling it a crackpot theory. A crackpot theory that was not only litigated and said as fact by 2 different administrative law judges here in the state of Florida, but again, on the state statute, which, like I said, I'm not going to put up a bunch of stuff on the screen. I can back up everything I say, which unfortunately Grade 2K Humane Society of the United States cannot. And then you had the gall to also have your little minion Jared Moskowitz. We remember the video of saying that female dogs were transitioning to male dogs. I took that to mean that female dogs were getting penises because of doggy birth control. That's another lie. The lies are just a mile long. And at one point a couple weeks ago, you said that this lawsuit was a slap in the face to all Florida voters. No. The Florida voters and the people of Florida, when this lawsuit goes forward, and I'm pretty sure it's going to go forward, is going to expose all the lies that were told to them. Like I said, win or lose, doesn't matter. You guys are going to be done. So we're going to have some fun here. We got a poll, and we'll keep this up the whole length of the show. Should Grey 2K be litigated into bankruptcy? I think I know which way this poll's going to go, but let's just throw it up there because we like to have a little fun on a Saturday night, okay? So, for the media, if you really want to wonder why this is getting litigated, let's sum it up. They screamed abuse. There was none. There was no proof at the Florida CRC. Let's just say that Mr. Teal and Grey 2K were in the back pockets of the politicians, and they had fixed the CRC. Now, that's the only thing I'm going to say tonight that can't really be proven, okay? But if you read the CRC transcripts, I think anybody with an IQ over 15 can tell that the whole process was fixed. So you screamed abuse. A couple commissioners dismissed that. You screamed about the cocaine. 2 judges in Florida and a state statute prove you wrong. Doggy birth control. Oh, we forgot about the state costs of state taxpayers. So you also got votes by pissing off the people of Florida by telling them that their tax money was basically not the cost to regulate Greyhound racing were not enough to cover the cost. The state paid more in costs than they took in to regulate, which you also knew was false. Once again, another reason why this is going to court, because you told a lie to the CRC. And we all know by now, if you've head hasn't been in the sand, that one of the CRC commissioners actually called the secretary, and the secretary told him, no, that's not the truth. We take in more. Actually, there's an email back in 2014, if that's been circulating on Grey 2K Scam this week, an email that was sent to Jack Corey from the DBPR stating the same thing. Now, Carrie Teal and Grey 2K like to quote the Spectrum report. Well, the Spectrum report took numbers basically grabbing them out of their rear ends because, as the email from the DBPR says, employees go across the parimutuel sports, so they can't really break down the costs. But they did assure Mr. Corey back in 2014, which was a year after the Spectrum report came out, that yes, indeed, the state does take in more revenue. Okay, so that's 2014. We had the vote in 2018. Now, if my math is not mistaken, that's 4 years of knowing that the state has been telling you that Greyhound racing does not cost more than they take in to regulate. So you took that and you lied to the CRC and you lied to the Florida people again. Another reason why this is going to court. Okay? Now, when all this gets presented to a judge and the evidence is there to back up all this that you people did this, I don't think they're going to toss the lawsuit out. And I did see the response by the state of Florida, which was nowhere. The motion to dismiss did not even address what was stated in the complaint. So generally, when you want to dismiss something, you need to dismiss it on grounds that were in the complaint. I don't know where they made up the fact that Support Working Animals was arguing that there's a privilege to gamble. Well, there's not a privilege to gamble. And the state actually said, there's nothing to litigate because it wasn't a government action. Okay, not a government action? Well, let's see. The Florida Constitution Commission Revision Committee that meets every 20 years is mandated by the Florida Constitution. Well, who makes up the Florida Constitution? Government action makes up the Florida Constitution. The CRC commissioners are appointed, about 3/4 of them are appointed by the governor. Let's see, who's the governor? The governor is not employed by the state. It's not a government action. So when DeSantis or Rick Scott at the time appointed these people, it's not a government action. 3 are also appointed by, and the 3 that weren't paid by either the Florida Greyhound Association or Grade 2K, were appointed by the Florida Supreme Court. Is the Florida Supreme Court not a government entity? So the Secretary of State was involved as well in a vote. I see we just lost connection. Secretary of State was involved. So how can the state say that none of this was a government action? This was, everything that happened was predicated. I mean, it started with Christine Dorchak backdooring Tom Lee, and probably who knows what the contribution was. Tom Lee was Tom Lee not a government person? So I don't understand that. I think they're on the road to nowhere. But anyways, if you want the real truth, go to keepgreyhoundsracing.org. keepgreyhoundsracing.org. All right, didn't have to use this, even though I really wanted to when talking about Grade 2K, but I'm hoping that media. What I just said, the media, that's the real story. Get off your ass and get the real story behind all this. It's not that dogs are abused. It's not that it's a dying sport. No, because you've been told enough lies to the point that you believe it as fact. And we all know journalism has gone down the shitter these days. Unfortunately, nobody bothers to. But I wanted to put that out either last week or this week to see if any journalist has the balls to actually go on this. So we'll see. All right, we got 2 winners from 2 weeks ago. And that was RTSS Gone with the Wind. And, well, I did a dumb thing. I don't have Pinot Grigio for those of you wine drinkers. So let me cue that one in the queue here while we look at Gone with the Wind from a couple weeks ago.
Set for go, race 13, Grade D's mid-distance course. It's now race time. Here comes Rossi. Racing front half of the Quinella double. 1 and 4 break well with the 2-8. 3, 7, 6, and 5. And through that first turn we go. And the one's on the lead. Sam Strike. 2 on the chase. Sabre Tactical 4. That is Gone with the Wind as we head down the backstretch. Sam Strike continues the lead. Sabre Tactical still second. 4. That is Gone with the Wind on the chase. 1, 4, 2, 7. Back to the 8, 6, 3, and 5 as heads a turn for home. And we got a new leader, Gone with the Wind. 4, 1, 2, and 7. Gone with the Wind on the lead and wins for fun. 2 up for second, Sabre.
Okay, Gone with the Wind goes in from a couple weeks ago. And then we had Pinot Grigio.
So here comes Lucky. Grade D Greyhounds off at racing, 7th of the evening. 5 out first, Kobe's Bailey. The Tascasita Attempt gets to the lead now for post position number 6. 1 runs in second, 5 third, 8, 2, and 4. It is the 6 up front by a couple of lengths at 9 to 2 on the tote board. A Tascasita Attempt with 1 win and 9 starts. That was last start in E. Now running in D. Pinot Grigio moves around to the outside at 5 to 2. 5 and 6 run side by side. Big push late for Pinot Grigio, who's home free with a big late burst. That's the 4.
All right, that was our second winner because we were taking 2 a couple weeks ago. Pinot Grigio. And here we go with the dogs in the second half tournament, which is coming to a close here before the holidays. And we will run it after the first of the year. Yeah, when the state codifies what the punishment will be when you run Greyhound races or bet on them, that's also a government action. So everything about involved was a government action, okay? All right, so here we go. We got Kentucky Fly, Flying Givenchy, Superior Tora, Imark Tequila, LK's Crushing It, Rev Devon. Now we hope the Iowa dogs will be running somewhere else. I don't know where. Somebody knows, let me know. Paint the Trail, Flat Chat Couple, Load the Bases, RTSS These Dreams. We've got a couple running to standstill dogs in this. She's a Little Runaway, Chillax Vacation, WW's Malort, Manzano, Zia Fire, Rags to Richness, another RTSS running to standstill, Gone with the Wind, winner a couple weeks ago. Pinot Grigio, Kentucky Boy, Flying Tilapia, and My Eyes Adore You. My Eyes was put in just last week by me because I can. Haha. Oh, the poll's going just like I thought it would. The poll question of the night, and we'll have one every week. Should Grade 2K be litigated into bankruptcy? Yeah, see, you know what? When you play to your audience and form a question, like the sham poll that they push poll that they put out in West Virginia this week, I mean, you can get the answer that you want any day of the week. Naples and Gulf. Okay, so good. Good. We can keep those dogs in the tournament. I hope some of them come to. I hope Reverend Devon comes to Naples because I want to see that dog run. I'm going to go down there since that's in my backyard. Yeah, and you know that's one thing. I before I got caught up in all this, I'd lived here 23 years. I had been to the Naples Fort Myers track. I live in Cape Coral, Florida, so the Naples Fort Myers track is about a 35-40 minute jaunt, maybe a little longer now that all the snowbirds are back. But I had been to that track one time since I moved down here in 22 and a half years. So that tells you where my interest was in greyhound racing. And anybody who knows me knows the story. I adopted two. One of the adoption guys told me that they were trying to end greyhound racing, and I did the research, and here I am because I didn't like what I saw. I don't like liars, okay? And that's what Grade 2K is, liars. If their lips are moving, they're lying, and it doesn't matter who it is. Anybody from Carrie Teal to bug-eyed Christine Dorchak to fake news Freddy. And I know you guys watch. I know who watches this. I know who watches the replays. So see you in court. That'll be great to meet all of you. So that's who's in. That's who's in. Now we've got 6 this week. Had a couple from last weekend's shindig over at Derby Lane. And of course, thanks Bob Crossland for posting. I know they're all your dogs, but they're at various tracks. So that gave me 3 more. I had 3 in the nomination thread, took 3 more. So we're going to do 6 this week, and we'll take 1. And then next week we're going to run a people's poll. So you got a week to think of who you want to nominate, and we'll run another poll. They have had. We'll put it up next week, and we'll look 2 weeks back. So that means starting next week you can nominate, and we'll go back 2 weeks. They would have to have had won a race in the previous 2 weeks. So without further ado, let's get through this, and then I want to, like I said, we're going to show Calhoun's speech from Derby Lane. You don't want to miss it if you haven't seen it. Our first one up this week is from Derby Lane, from Weekend at Derby Lane, and that is the dog called Wild and Free.
Here comes Harrison. They're off in the 15th. At the break, it's 7-1, 8-3, 2, 6, 5, and 4. FF Boston, your leader. Wild and Free comes out of the first turn second. The 3 is Mr. Sargent. It's 7-2, 3, 6. They head into the far turn now. That is Mr. Sargent. FF Boston. Questioned, Wild and Free shuffled back a bit, looking for racing room. Mr. Sargent gets loose on the front. Questions, Wild and Free swings to the outside. 2, 3, and 6. Wild and Free gets up at the wire.
What a great finish for Wild and Free. Okay, so that very same night we had another nomination from Derby Lane. Oh Yeah, Buddy Boy. I love that name. Oh Yeah, Buddy Boy.
Race number 5, it's post time. Here comes Harrison. They're off in the 5th. At the break, it's 2, 3, 5, 6, 8, 4, 1, and 7. It's the 2, Shane Block, the early leader. It's in the mail. There goes our HT Blast Dancer. The 4 is RCK Burnt Moon. Up front, that is Shayna Bach, a big lead. Oh, yeah, Buddy Boy now picks up the chase second. It's 2, 7, 3, and 4. They head for home. Oh, yeah, Buddy Boy. Oh, yeah, Buddy Boy wins it. Shayna Bach holds for second.
Oh, yeah, Buddy Boy. All right, number 3 this week is Flying Benelli.
Here comes Everson. They're off in the 9th. At the break, it's 4, 8, 5, 3, 1, 2, 6, and 7. Rebley Fremont Street, your leader. The 5 Buck Magic, the 4 Flying Benelli, the 6 Oshkosh iPod. It's 8, 4, 5, 6, 2, 3, 1, and 7 trails. Rebley Fremont Street out there by 2 lengths. Flying Benelli closing ground. 8, 4, 6. They come to the wire. Flying Benelli!
Flying Benelli for the win. Nice comeback. All right, number 4 is an Ann Fritz dog. Red Sails.
Here comes Lucky. They're off and racing in the second. 7 reared at the break. Here's the 3 on the inside. 6 joins. 4 in between Greyhounds. 3, 6, 4, 8, 1, 2, 5 in the 7. To the opening turn they go. And KB's Scooter at 10-1 leads by a couple. The 6 is Red Sails from St. Petersburg. Few St. Petersburg ex-runners in this race. That's Red Sails to the lead over KB's Scooter. 8-3 is MC Way of Life, another St. Petersburg Greyhound. Off-strided badly by the 4, and the 5 was pushed to the outside. That derails all their efforts. It's Red Sails. 6, 3, and 5, and a tight finish as the 5 closed here in the second.
That was a wild bump in that last turn. You don't see that too often, but fortunately everybody made it through safe and sound. That's the way it goes. All right, yeah, we got one returner this week, and that would be our number 5 nominee, which is ZB Tremonte.
Spunky's coming around, and they're out the box and on the fly. It's 5 on the outside, moving to the top spot. ZB Tremonte's leading the way towards that back stretch. AB Bad Influence trying to be a bad influence on the 5, but 7's in hot pursuit. Priscilla Barnes. 2's picking up the pace. 8's moving fast. 3's trying hard. 4, 6 in the back. They're into that final turn towards that stretch. 5's AB Tremonte's holding the lead spot. It's going to be 5-1, 8-2.
ZB Tremonte with another easy win. Yeah, it was an easy one. He never looked back. All right, now... Tracy had the Derby Lane race. Yeah, I don't even want to talk about betting on Greyhounds. I'm better off taking video than betting, because I went 0 for the weekend. How about that? All right, number 6 is Ring Around Nosy.
It's post time for race number 7, Grade C runners at Daytona Beach Racing. Here comes Lucky. They're off and racing in the 7th of the afternoon. 1, 3, and 6 start well. 8 joins from the outside, 2, 7, 5, and 4. Off stride goes the 8 in the first turn. RHT Dark Salsa at 5-1. That's your leader, the 1. Alpha Cream, it's a 3/4 of a length advantage, but this is the 6. Nice breeze on the outside. 2 moves up 3, 7. And the 6 will duck back down to the inside. A little more east and west here for the 6. Now the 3 has late run. Ring Around Nosy, and Nosy takes a hard look and scores. It's the 3 in front. Ring Around Nosy.
And Ring Around Nosy with a snap win there at the end. Another good race. All of them good races. Okay, so let's take a look at our 6 finalists for this week.
Mr. Sargent gets loose on the front. Questions. Wild and Free swings to the outside. 2, 3, and 6. Wild and Free gets up at the wire. Second, it's 2, 7, 3, and 4. They head for home. Oh, yeah, Buddy Boy. Oh, yeah, Buddy Boy wins it. Shayna Bach holds for second. Closing ground. 8, 4, 6. They come to the wire. Flying Benelli.
St. Petersburg Greyhound off-strided badly by the 4, and the 5 was pushed to the outside. That derails all their efforts. It's Red Sails. 6, 3, and 5. And
4, 6 in the back. They're into that final turn towards that stretch. 5, Xavier Tramontes holding the lead spot. It's going to be 5-1, 8-2.
7. And the 6 will duck back down to the inside. A little more east and west here for the 6. Now the 3 has late run. Ring around Nosy, and Nosy takes a hard look and scores. It's the 3 in front. Ring around Nosy.
All right, there's your 6 finalists. Wild and Free, Oh Yeah Buddy Boy, Flying Benelli, Red Sails, ZB Tremonti, and Ring Around Nosy. The poll should be up at 9:30 because it is 9:30, so the poll should be up now. All right, before we go to Cal Holland's speech from Derby Lane again, stick around, and if you hadn't heard that, or even if you have, you may want to listen to it again. The one thing I will note is the resignation in his voice. If you were there and didn't have a tear in your eye, something's wrong with you. Basically, unless we get this overturned, this gentleman's and a lot of other people are going to lose their livelihoods, generations of people, and by doing nothing wrong. Again, there's nothing wrong with Greyhound racing. We're here each and every week, okay? We get it. Dogs die on the track. Dogs die in the backyards. Dogs die on the roads when people are irresponsible or make a mistake and let them out the gate. Animals die. People die. Death is a part of life. A lot of people die. Humans die doing what they're doing, what they love to do. Animals die doing what they love to do. Animals sometimes die doing what they don't want to do when they have owners that don't take care of them and let them out. Or accidents do happen. So the accident rate at home is 2 to 3 times more than at a Greyhound track. So, like I said before, this fight ain't over, okay? We, as a group, members, support working animals, overturn 13. Working animal supporters, not only Greyhounds, but working animal supporters are all over this. And to preserve the sport that we all love, we will do whatever by any means necessary. Just like the animal rights terrorists have been spreading their crap by any means necessary to send their message, with nobody fighting back. This is the time, and I will say this every week, this is the call to action. By any means necessary. Florida closes down, we'll find investors and we'll open tracks in other states, okay? And we'll get Florida reopened. We lose in court, we will get Florida reopened again. If we have to go ballot issue, whatever we have to do, by any means necessary. If we have to pay off politicians, well, shit, maybe we're going to do that now. So screw it. This war has just begun. This war for Greyhound racing has just begun. Certain people out there, you can lay down and roach your wings up and give up and wave your white flag, but we've got thousands of members that aren't giving up. And again, things are discussed behind the scenes, and like I said, this sport will go on by any means necessary. Yeah, legal. Well, it's not like our opponents do everything legal. If you can get away with it, you get away with it. We're not going to blow shit up, okay? I can tell you that. But the time has come for people to get pissed and people to get mad. And you put your competition out of business. So that's where we're going. At least that's where I'm going. If I have to head it myself and get another group, I will do it. But we're going to put these bastards out of business. And I know they watch, and I could care less, because I told them a couple of years ago when I first got in this fight, I will be part of a group. It's not going to be me. It's going to be everybody. And eventually we're going to put those morons out of business. All right, without further ado, here's Cal Holland's speech from Derby Lane.
1995. Cal opened his kennel in Derby Lane in 1976 when he took over from Mulberry Kennel. This is his 43rd, did you hear me? 43 year running a kennel here. I am honored and proud to introduce to you Cal Holland Sr.
and just do the best I can.
You may want to just gather down here.
Everybody gather around.
Gather around the fireside.
Everybody come down. You're going to have to come down.
We're live.
Again, I'm going to try to do the best I can. Like I say, I was born in this business with my grandfather and my father. Well, really it was my mother. And she took care of all of the dogs. And my grandfather worked for the Burlington Railroad. So, anyway, my grandfather worked for the Burlington Railroad.
I should have told people on live streaming to keep Greyhounds and they could listen.
Of school, she had to turn the dogs out because they lived in St. Louis, Missouri. And they had racing in St. Louis, Missouri. So that's kind of where they started. My grandfather wanted some Irish bloodlines. So he bought 2 dogs from England and brought them over and bred them. And so that was kind of the background of all of his dogs. He got transferred from the railroad to Colorado, and he built a little farm there, and he was kind of instrumental in helping get Greyhound racing in Colorado. So there again, everyone worked so hard, and it really wasn't the Grade 2K that put Colorado out of business. It was just the tracks just went under. So I raced out there, and I could kind of see the handwriting on the wall, and I had raced here at Derby Lane before that. So I called up Bay Weaver and said, Bay, I'd like to come back to Florida and race again. And he says, I'll get back with you. About 3 weeks later, he called me and said, Cal, we're going to have an opening, come on down. So I brought all my stuff back down from Colorado and started racing here again. And I think it was 1993. So I missed Colorado because really the money was much better in Colorado than it was here. The lottery is what really killed our racing industry and our personal interests. In the 1980s and 90s, here on the weekends, you couldn't even get a place to sit here. All the bars would be 12 and 15 deep just to try to get a drink. Up in the Plaza building, clear on the top floor, was another fabulous place to sit and watch the races. I was up there when the Sunshine Skyway Bridge collapsed. Our training track was in Sarasota, so at that time we didn't really get to school much here on this surface. So we bought land down in Sarasota and put in our own altered lure, just like this one. And so all of our people put money into it to run it, because we had to pay the lure operator, we had to pay the brake man, and then all the expenses. We had to have a tractor, we had to have the drag, so we did that for many years. And then I went to Derby Lane and asked them, I said, is there any way possible that we could get more schooling on this surface rather than driving all around? If we didn't have a Sunshine Skyway, we'd have to go all the way through Tampa and all the way around just to school our dogs. So it really wasn't very fun to go to school down in Sarasota and then come back. But anyway, they said, yeah, okay. So a little bit at a time, they kind of, less kennels come racing here because there was other places that paid more money. So most of the time we had about 23 kennels. So they said, okay, everybody just gets 2 lures. Well, I mean, putting 8 puppies in the box twice a week, really it was hard on the dogs. But anyway, we did it. When the kind of kennels kind of slimmed down, then they give, today's, we get 4 lures. Everybody has to sign up, and everybody has to have a person here to stand in while everybody races to catch the dogs or to load them or to hand slip to get all of our unofficial schooling done. So I do applaud Derby Lane, and down in Miami, you had to just go to the training track there. You weren't allowed to race on their surface. So Derby Lane has always helped us to try to do the best we could with the dogs that we had coming in. But I've been racing here a long time. I enjoyed racing here probably more than any of the other 24 tracks I've ever raced at. So I guess that's kind of why I made my home here, because I knew if there was ever going to be racing anywhere, it was going to be here. So I had my daughter and my son. They helped me in the kennel. They were my trainers. They knew what I wanted, and they all did a fabulous job. About 10 years ago, my daughter come into work, and I said, Renee, I love you, honey, but today's your last day. She said, what do you mean? I said, you're fired. You're going to go get yourself an education and a good livelihood. Because she had 2 kids, one was handicapped, and she brought, at that time we could bring the kids into the compound. Them kids got up with her every morning, and her husband, because her husband worked with us. And them 2 kids was really raised in these kennels around dogs, just like I was. I went to 17 high schools, because we always had to move around. And luckily I was good enough to graduate from high school, from Revere High School in Massachusetts. But all the tracks used to be seasonal. Come to Florida in the winter and go to Southland or Massachusetts or Arizona or Colorado. That's where we had to go in the summer. So I got by with it, and we all enjoyed racing. I enjoyed racing then a lot more than I do now, actually. But first of all, you got to have way too many dogs in your kennel. You try to take the best you can, because I have 68 dogs in my kennel. And that's the only way that you can be kind of profitable racing today, just because the overhead is so high, and that's what it needs to take to race here at Derby Lane, or really any other track. It just takes a lot of dogs, because you got dogs that are injured, so they don't count. They're off to the side, and then you got your puppies. Right now, I've got 16 puppies that I'm working in the morning, trying to get ready to race here in the next few months. But I have a lot of things. Here's Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis in Arizona. Let's see, this was 1955. But just like here, Babe Ruth and everybody used to come here during spring training. So it was a big deal for Johnny Benson and all them came here. And they all had presentations out here on the track. Pete Rose was another, he always came here, whether it's baseball season or not. He always came here in the same Tampa. So they all really enjoyed racing just like I have. So I just want to apply to all of you people for trying to stick behind all of our racing. That's what it takes. But I don't know how it's going to end up, but as of right now, with no changes, December 31st, 2020 will be the last race in Florida. But without all of the adoption people, we really wouldn't know how to exit all of our dogs. And that's what it's going to take. Our GPA here, they're working with us, and well, there's 4 or 5 different groups around Florida. We've got contacts everywhere. So without all these adoption places, a lot of these dogs wouldn't really have a place to go. Every dog is spoken for. There's no enthused, nobody will be ever put down. So I wouldn't have the heart to do it, because I love these dogs. But I guess I kind of want to make it through the end, if I can. And I just wish there was something else that we could do to continue the racing. My thoughts was really, no tracks really want to run, they want to close. So that's kind of what we're fighting. And I want to thank Sharon. Sharon has been a dear friend of mine. We have talked. Sharon! But I don't know, I'll answer any questions if anyone wants to ask questions. Oh, we don't have any idea.
When did you open Wisconsin?
1990.
I have a little something for you. First, that kind of.
Oh my God, he was in Wisconsin in 1990, and I was probably going to Dairyland when I went to Wisconsin.
Was it Wonderland?
Dairyland.
Dairyland in Iowa. My first
Wisconsin opened.
Oh, we were
I took a kennel out
thrilled
there in
when they
Wisconsin
opened.
Dells.
I couldn't wait to get to the dog races back then.
I said, I don't know if I got dogs enough really to race here. But we went up there and we won the first race ever in Wisconsin with a dog that I own personally, Alabama Tide, because I don't know where that came from. But anyway, that was his name, and he ended up being a great dog in Wisconsin. He won 2 match races, and then I took him to Colorado to race, and he won 50 some odd races there, and he was finally retired. But I have a photo of me and my son and Tommy Thompson. He was governor of Wisconsin at that time.
Yep, I lived in Wisconsin at that time.
So anyway, I have pictures of him with.
That's crazy. I went to Dairyland and I was
memories
watching Cal Holland dogs when I lived in Wisconsin.
And I just hate to see it end. So,
Well, it's in the hand of it's going to be in the hand of judges now. No animal activists. It's in the hands of judges, and we'll just go see where it goes. All right, what a class individual, Cal Holland. I've had the pleasure of meeting him a couple times. He's one of the reasons among many good people in the industry why we are doing what we're doing. I'm not going to lay down, not going to take it, not going to put up with the BS, and eventually we'll get the upper hand and the lies will stop. So with that being said, thanks for watching. Like I said, I think we pretty much have exposed all the lies, and everything we say can be backed up. I must say that Cal Holland has more class in his little fingernail than anyone at Grade 2K. So with that, have a great week, and once again, we will see you next week. We will be here on the 16th. There will be no Greyhound race of the week on the 23rd or the 30th, because I will be out of town. So next week, and then we'll take a 2-week break, and then we'll be back on December 7th. Once again, thanks for watching. Have a good weekend.
Shut up and sit down.
Down the stretch for the birthday boy. There's one skip. Solo at 12-1. Flamenco dancer.
Shut up and sit down.